At the beginning of the story, we see a man named Josh and some of his friends planning to steal $20 million from a billionaire's penthouse. But strangely, none of them had ever stolen even a pen before. So how did things reach this point? Until recently, Josh worked in a tall building called the Tower. A billionaire investment banker named Arthur lived in the penthouse on the top floor of the building. George had immense trust in Arthur, so much that he had entrusted him with investing all the employees' pension funds. The plan was that everyone working in the building would receive a large retirement amount in the future. As usual, when Josh arrived at work that morning, Mr. Simon, the building's general manager, told him that he wanted to meet Charlie and that he should be there within 30 minutes. Charlie arrived at the office at the same time, but he was 20 minutes late. Josh scolded him and said that Mr. Simon might fire him that day. But Charlie replied that he was already stressed enough and Josh should not make it worse. Charlie's wife was Josh's sister and she was expecting a baby. A short while later, Mr. Simon told Josh that he needed to clear the penthouse of a man named Mr. Fizu. Josh went to Fizu's apartment. Fizu had not paid his rent for a long time. He used to be very wealthy, but later he lost all his money. Josh asked him to vacate the house as soon as possible, but when Fizu requested a little more time, Josh felt pity for him and agreed. That evening, as Josh was returning home, Lester, the building's doorman, told him that he would retire next year because he had invested his money wisely. Josh and Lester then noticed a car parked outside the building that had been there for the past 2 days. Suddenly, several men walked past them, and Josh suspected that a burglary might happen. So he told Lester to close the door immediately. He rushed inside and started shouting "Code Black" in front of everyone. They checked the CCTV footage but could not see the men. Soon they discovered that Arthur had been kidnapped. Josh ran after them at great speed to save Arthur. But suddenly, a woman attacked him and knocked him unconscious, and the truck overturned on the road. Josh tried to convince everyone that Arthur was innocent and that those people were kidnapping him. But the woman revealed that her name was Agent Claire Denham and that Arthur was actually trying to escape from the police. It was then revealed that Arthur had committed a multi-million-dollar fraud, and the authorities had ordered all of his assets to be frozen. When Josh finally returned to the building, he told his staff that for years, Arthur had been investing everyone's pension money for their benefit. But after hearing about this massive scam, everyone became furious because all their money was now gone. Shortly after that, news arrived that Arthur had been released on bail after paying $10 million. However, he was ordered to remain confined inside his penthouse and could not leave without permission from the FBI. Agent Claire then announced that the penthouse would now function as a high-security prison. She asked Arthur about a particular car. Arthur explained that it was a 1963 Ferrari 250 GT that once belonged to Steve McQueen. He said he had bought the car for $1 million and now its value had increased to more than $10 million. Before Josh left, Arthur asked him to arrange food deliveries because he was now effectively imprisoned inside his own home. Later, Josh asked Claire if Arthur was truly innocent and how everyone could recover their lost money. Claire told him that it would be better to inform everyone that Arthur was actually guilty. Later, while Josh was returning home, he saw some police officers taking away his childhood friend Slide. However, Slide had been involved in suspicious activities for a long time, so Josh did not pay much attention. Later, we see Lester quietly walking toward the train tracks. A few hours later, Josh received a phone call and rushed to the hospital. There, Charlie told him that Lester had almost been hit by a train. But at the last moment, a police officer pulled him back and saved his life. When Josh met Lester, he learned that a few months earlier, Lester had given his entire life savings of $3,000 to Arthur to invest. But now he had lost everything. Josh immediately headed toward the penthouse to confront Arthur. However, Charlie explained that he could not go upstairs yet. At that moment, Fizu arrived and said that he was going to jail and that his wife had taken the children and left him. Josh then remembered that Fizu had once worked in the stock market. Josh asked him when Arthur might have realized that all the money was gone. Fizu replied that Arthur probably discovered it about a year ago. Josh then asked why Arthur had taken Lester's $3,000 just 2 months earlier. Fizu said it was probably so Arthur could continue living his luxurious lifestyle. Finally, Charlie allowed Josh to go upstairs and told the FBI that Josh had come to collect a breakfast order. Josh immediately asked Arthur why he had taken Lester's money. Arthur casually replied that he had actually done Lester a favor by investing it. Charlie then told Arthur that Lester had jumped in front of a train the previous night. Hearing this, Josh picked up a golf club and walked toward Arthur's prized Ferrari. Arthur nervously warned him not to make a mistake he could not afford. But Josh replied, "Does it even matter?" Arthur said that it definitely did, and claimed that he was not feeling well. At that moment, Josh smashed the Ferrari's windshield with the golf club. Later, Mr. Simon called them into his office. He said he did not care how much money Arthur had stolen, but what Josh and his friends had done was completely unacceptable. Because of this, Simon decided to fire all of them. Before leaving, Josh wished Miss Lavka good luck for her law exams. Then he said goodbye to the rest of the staff and walked out of the building. Later that night, Josh met Claire at a club. He told Claire that he wanted to return the hard-earned money to his staff. As Josh was about to leave, Claire asked if he wanted to go for a drink. After some time, both of them ended up getting drunk. Claire then said that she probably should not reveal this, but Arthur had secretly hidden $20 million from his assets somewhere. However, the FBI had not been able to locate it yet. Josh was shocked to hear this, and after Claire left, his mind started racing with ideas. The next day, he went to his old office in the tower to retrieve a notebook. He then searched around, looking for possible safes. After that, he gathered Enrique, Charlie, and Fizu and brought them to his home. Josh already had a clever plan in mind. Josh explained that Arthur had recently carried out renovations in his penthouse. He believed that Arthur had hidden the $20 million somewhere there. The FBI had also failed to find the safe because it was probably hidden inside a wall. Josh's plan was to steal the safe from the penthouse. For this, he needed the help of Charlie, Enrique, and Fizu. Enrique and Fizu immediately agreed. However, Charlie stood up and started to leave. He said that none of them knew how to steal. They were all decent people who had never even harmed a fly in their lives. So how could they possibly steal $20 million? Josh replied that he knew someone who could help them complete this mission. We are then shown Slide sitting in jail. A police officer came and told him that someone had paid his bail. When Slide walked out of the police station, he saw Josh standing there asking for his help. Josh took him into his car and started talking about random things. But Slide became irritated and angrily asked what Josh really wanted. Josh then stopped the car and told him about the plan to steal $20 million from Arthur. Soon after, Josh introduced Slide to the rest of the team. Josh told everyone that Slide had been in jail several times, so he could definitely help them. But when Slide realized that none of them had ever stolen anything before, he refused to join them. He explained that things could become very complicated during a heist, and beginners would not be able to handle it. Josh then said that he wanted Slide to join the team so they could learn from him. He insisted that Slide should teach them and make them experts like him. Slide then gave them a test. He told each of them to steal one item from a shopping mall. If they successfully completed this task, he would support them in their mission. Although they were nervous, the three of them managed to complete the task. Later, they gathered at Josh's house and started planning their next move. Josh explained how they would secretly enter the tower while avoiding the cameras and the security guards. They were preparing to reach the penthouse quietly. Just then, Agent Claire suddenly knocked on Josh's door, and everyone quickly hid. Later, Claire told Josh that Arthur would likely be cleared of the charges the following week. She also said that Arthur had decided to sue Josh for breaking the window of his Ferrari. However, he would drop the case if Josh apologized to him. Eventually, Josh decided to go and apologize to Arthur so that he could also get a chance to inspect the penthouse. Later, as Claire was dropping Josh off, she gave him the footage showing him breaking Arthur's Ferrari. Claire admitted that, to be honest, watching it was actually quite satisfying. Before leaving, Josh asked Claire if she would go out with him on Saturday night. Claire happily agreed to the invitation. Later, when Josh entered his house, his colleagues were upset with him for dating an FBI agent. Soon after, they started discussing their real mission. Slide said that opening the safe would be very difficult because he had never stolen from such a high-end safe before. He explained that they needed someone who knew how to open large safes. At that moment, Josh had an idea. He went to meet Odessa, who worked at the tower. Josh showed her the same type of safe and asked if she knew how to open it. Odessa replied that the safe had several spindles and that it would take her about 15 minutes to open it. Later, we see Slide trying to learn how to open the safe from her. The next morning, Josh and Enrique arrived at the tower. While keeping watch, they suddenly saw Charlie entering the building. When Josh demanded an explanation, Charlie told him that Mr. Simmons had rehired him. Now that Charlie was working at the tower again, he refused to be part of Josh's plan. He explained that he needed the job for the sake of his wife and child. Because of that, he would not allow them to steal from the tower. Meanwhile, Agent Claire received news that Arthur's trial had been postponed until Thanksgiving. On top of that, Arthur announced that he would still file a case against Josh despite his apology. Claire then called Josh to inform him that Arthur's court hearing would now take place on Thanksgiving. She also warned him that once Arthur filed the case, Josh could end up in jail that same week. As Thanksgiving approached, Josh told Enrique that Charlie's wife would be leaving for her uncle's house by train that day. He asked Enrique to steal her phone. At that time, Charlie was busy managing staff duties at the tower. Meanwhile, Enrique found Charlie's wife and quietly stole her phone. At the same time, Arthur was being escorted from his penthouse to attend court. He returned shortly afterward. Just then, Josh noticed Slide, dressed in a suit and boots, heading toward the tower. Fizu said that this was not part of their plan. Josh then explained that Slide might be trying to trick them and steal all the money by himself. Meanwhile, inside the tower, Charlie suddenly received a message from his wife saying that their baby was due very soon. He quickly rushed out of the building. As soon as he left, Josh and his team began their operation. Within moments, they secretly entered the tower. At the same time, Slide, dressed in a suit and boots, was sitting inside Mr. Simmons' office. He claimed that he had come from the bank to inspect the renovation work in Fizu's apartment. Meanwhile, Odessa arrived with a birthday cake, and the staff became busy celebrating someone's birthday. Josh and his teammates then saw Mr. Simmons entering the elevator with Slide. Seeing this, the three three of them quickly ran up the stairs. As soon as Slide reached Fizu's apartment, he suddenly locked Mr. Simmons inside a cupboard. Soon after, Odessa arrived outside the penthouse carrying a cake for the FBI agent. The agent was allergic to chocolate, so Odessa used the moment to attack him and knocked him unconscious. As Slide entered the elevator, Josh and his team suddenly stopped it. Slide then opened the elevator's ceiling and began climbing upward. Meanwhile, Josh and his team had already reached the penthouse and disabled all the CCTV cameras. They quickly began searching for the hidden safe. After a short time, Josh discovered a hollow wall. Excited by the discovery, he immediately started breaking it open. However, Slide suddenly appeared behind him and pointed a gun at him. At that exact moment, Odessa placed a gun against Slide's head. Fizu quickly took advantage of the situation and snatched Slide's gun. After capturing Slide, Odessa began working to open the safe. Meanwhile, when Agent Claire arrived at the courthouse with Arthur, she was informed that the court was closed and the judge was on leave. Claire immediately realized that something was wrong. She quickly decided to take Arthur back to the tower. At the same time, Charlie returned to the tower after discovering that he had been misled earlier. His wife was not actually in the hospital. Charlie immediately went to the security room to check if Josh had entered the building. However, no one had seen Josh there. Meanwhile, inside the penthouse, Odessa finally succeeded in opening the safe. But as soon as the safe opened, the floor beneath her shifted slightly. To everyone's surprise, the safe was completely empty. After seeing the empty safe, Slide announced that he was leaving. Suddenly, he tried to grab his gun back from Fizu. During the struggle, a shot was accidentally fired and the bullet hit the Ferrari. Josh then noticed something strange about the car. When he scratched the paint slightly, he was shocked to discover that the car was actually made entirely of gold. Fizu quickly calculated its value and estimated that it was worth nearly $45 million. After realizing this, they all decided to steal the car together. However, they could not take the car directly out of the building. At that moment, Josh came up with an idea. A large suspended platform was normally used to clean the tower's glass windows. Josh asked Enrique to bring the platform down. They then removed a large mirror from the penthouse and prepared to use the platform to move the Ferrari outside. Meanwhile, inside the car, Claire told Arthur that she suspected someone was robbing her building. She explained that someone had deliberately given her a false date so she would leave the penthouse. Back at the penthouse, Josh and his team attached the car to the elevator and slowly pushed it out of the window. Then Enrique carefully guided the car downward toward Fizu's apartment. But suddenly, the FBI agent outside the penthouse regained consciousness. Josh quickly told Fizu to pull the car into his apartment as fast as possible. However, Fizu panicked. Meanwhile, the FBI agent began knocking on the penthouse door. Josh and Slide hurriedly climbed onto the crane rope and slowly started descending. As Fizu tried to pull the car inside, he suddenly slipped and ended up hanging in the air along with the car. Finally, Josh and Slide managed to climb down and enter Fizu's apartment. Just then, Fizu lost his grip and was about to fall to his death. At the last second, Josh grabbed his hand and saved his life. We then see the agent's car stuck in heavy traffic. A police officer informs them that they must take a detour through the park. Meanwhile, Josh and Slide hook up the car and pull it inside. Only then do we see Charlie arrive there, who is very angry with Josh because Josh was risking his life just to steal the car. When Josh reveals that the car is made entirely of gold and worth $45 million, Charlie finally agrees to join their plan. They then begin thinking about how to move the car using the elevator. Enrique stops the elevator on the floor directly below them. While searching for the car keys, Josh discovers a notebook. Inside it is a detailed record of Arthur's illegal and dishonest activities. Josh quietly takes the notebook with him. After that, they carefully place the car onto the elevator. Meanwhile, Claire arrives at the tower with her colleagues and Arthur. At the same time, Josh and his teammates are standing on the roof of the elevator. Suddenly, Enrique announces that she has lost control of the security system. The elevator then begins descending rapidly. After a moment, the elevator finally stops. At that exact time, the agents and Arthur enter the elevator. The elevator suddenly starts moving upward again at high speed. Josh becomes nervous because he fears the car might crash into the rooftop while going back toward the penthouse. Fortunately, they narrowly avoid that disaster. Josh then asks Slide where he parked his truck. After that, Josh calls Lester and informs him that there has been a slight change in the plan. He tells Lester that they must somehow get the car out of the tower. Meanwhile, when Arthur and the agents arrive at the penthouse, they are shocked to discover that the Ferrari is gone. Claire then explains that Arthur had hidden information about the wall safe from the FBI. Because of this, his bail is immediately canceled. He is then told that he must accompany the police to the station. Claire then goes to the security room and notices a truck speeding out of the tower. She immediately realizes that the Ferrari must be inside that truck. Meanwhile, Lester is driving the truck through a busy crowd. Soon, the agents begin chasing him. However, as Lester turns into an alley, police vehicles suddenly surround him. When the officers open the truck, they are shocked to see that it is completely empty. Claire asks Lester where his companions are, but Lester pretends to know nothing and says that he simply went out for a drive. Soon after, the FBI arrests Josh and his team on suspicion of stealing the car. The police then place all of them in a truck and begin taking them to the police station. Arthur is also inside the same truck. Arthur smugly tells Josh and his friends that he will return to his penthouse in just a few days, but he claims that they will all spend many years in prison. Josh calmly replies that they might spend a few years in jail, but Arthur will end up in prison for life. Josh then reveals that he found a notebook that contains a detailed record of Arthur's illegal activities. Hearing this, Arthur becomes completely horrified. Arthur then offered Josh and his team 10 times the value of the car, which came to about $450 million. However, Enrique reminded him that accepting tips was strictly prohibited in the tower. Later, Miss Lavancoa arrived at the FBI office and claimed to be the lawyer for Josh and his associates. In reality, she had passed her law exam only 3 days earlier. Lavancoa then handed Arthur's notebook to the FBI and demanded the immediate release of Josh and his team. After receiving the notebook, the authorities agreed to release them. Later, it was decided that Josh would serve 2 years in prison, and he accepted the punishment. Meanwhile, Slide, Enrique, Fizu, and Odessa reached the roof of the tower. Suddenly, they removed the cover of the swimming pool. It was revealed that they had secretly hidden the car inside the swimming pool. At the same time, Charlie was with his wife as they welcomed their beautiful baby girl. Meanwhile, Arthur was sentenced to life in prison. Josh, however, received a sentence of only 2 years. A few days later, a mysterious box arrived outside the homes of each staff member who worked in the tower. When they opened the boxes, they were filled with excitement and joy. Inside the boxes were pieces of the gold Ferrari. In the end, even though Josh was serving 2 years in prison, he still had a satisfied smile on his face.